and Barbecue.
Is that what the L means?
L means left, R means right.
L means a loser.
Oh, my mic just came out of the stand. No. Doggone it.
Oh, you're wrecking our brand new studio. Dude.
Well, listen, brand new or not, we're here and we're doing our thing.
Yep.
And we're happy to be here doing it, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Hey, everybody, this is Boost, Booze, and Barbecue, episode 4.
Yeah.
We're here, we're arriving,
Yep.
and we're enjoying every minute of it. We hope you're enjoying it, too.
Yes. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal, is just to have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Have fun. Talk about stuff.
Make a little
things.
Yeah, make a little money, maybe. I want to
Maybe.
thank everybody for, going to our website, boostboozebarbecue.com. And, of course, you can email me, Andy, at boostboozebarbecue.com. Or you can email DBJ at jojo, J-O-J-O, at boostboozebarbecue.com.
That's me.
And click through our Amazon affiliate, if you don't mind, please and thank you. We know you're going to buy stuff from Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
We all do.
Everybody buys stuff from Amazon.
I have no doubt that there's some kind of an Amazon underground where, like, the elite people can buy stuff that the rest of us regular folks can't. But
Yeah, it's like you have to get the VIP status or something.
I'm definitely not a VIP.
No, I'm not either.
I'm a VMP, a very mediocre person. And that's the way I like it.
Oh, well, good for you. I'm glad you've achieved your life goal of being mediocre.
I've embraced my mediocrity. There's a difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I guess, I don't know. It's better than me, I guess. I tend to prefer to just kind of watch most opportunities float on by.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know that saying, when opportunity knocks, right?
Yeah.
You're the old lady that's looking through her window going, who's there?
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
It's the Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't answer the door.
I already have a church. Slam.
He did that. He answered the door. So I walk up to Andy's front door the other day, and I give it a knock, and pretty soon it opens like, I don't know, maybe 4 inches, and I get like a 4-inch view of Andy's face and beard. And he just goes, I already have a church, and then slammed the door right in my face.
Listen,
That's how he rolls.
Listen, we've been friends for, did you know this? We've been friends for 14 years now.
Has it been?
It has been 14 years.
Oh my gosh, it's 2018, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I keep forgetting that.
We met at a race at 2004. And,
No, I think it was in 2004 because I didn't go to my first autocross until 2005. So it must have been 2005.
oh, 2005. Okay.
Yeah. But this is the start of my 14th year of autocross. So we've been friends for 14 years.
Oh, yeah.
Going on 14 years, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I was there at like your second race.
Yeah.
Saw that you had potential and said, hey, you need to join my team.
Yeah.
What a silly thing that was.
I know. It was fun at the time. It was a thing to do. That was in the early 2000s when F&F was at its prime. And
Well, you know what started the whole street team thing, don't you?
what?
It was Initial D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I had never even heard of Initial D until I met you and the rest of the street sweepers.
Well, I mean, I had never heard of it until I was in PIR one day. I was buying a gasket for my T3 turbo flange, and they had a bunch of like Option and Super Street and Sport Compact Car DVDs, and they had like a whole lineup of Initial D DVDs. And I saw it, and I said, "What's that?" And I don't remember who it was behind the counter, but he was like, it's this Japanese cartoon about racing. And I was like, sold, take it. I want to see what this is about.
Yeah. In your mind, you were like, oh, I hope it's a lot like Speed Racer.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was. I actually was hoping it was a little more like Hello Kitty, but
Oh, well.
they did a good job of combining the two, if I'm honest.
Did they?
Yeah.
Hello Kitty and Initial D?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
They got the drama and they got the cars. And listen, all car people understand that all you really need in life is a little drama and a little cars.
Maybe that's what I'm missing, because it takes me a while to settle into a club. And the moment I sense drama, I retreat.
Yeah.
I pull back. I'm like, not so much. I'm not a drama mama.
I
don't dig it.
I heard it.
No.
It's hard to escape, especially when you do the kind of work that we do.
I have a really strict no drama policy and a really strict no douchebag policy.
Save that drama for your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I read a study the other day that said 100% of women that marry douchebags regret it.
That is one statistic that I 100% believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Exactly.
So listen, before Mike's heated up,
Yep.
you and I were actually talking about the tires that we've been seeing on the SCCA Pro Solo Tour. It's a good gauge for which tires people should be using when they're starting out and they want to get serious. Not like when they're starting out, but when they say, okay, I've learned my car dynamics, I've been racing or autocrossing or pro soloing for a couple of years. Now I want to really crank down.
Yeah.
What have been the trends you've been seeing? Because as discussed in a previous episode, Joe actually races a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty curious to hear what she's been seeing on the track.
Well, you kind of see the usual suspects, I guess. You've got the Bridgestones and the BF Goodrich, the Falcons, maybe some Hoosiers. And they all, each year, the articles start to come out around this time of year and even earlier, like what's going to be the tire for this season. And you always kind of see those main competitors going head to head. And I think a lot of the what people end up choosing, a lot of it does have to do with those articles because they are really helpful. So just to be a little more specific, when I mean Bridgestone, typically it's the RE71R. BF Goodrich, typically it's the Rival S. And
then the Kumho's
V720s.
Yeah.
Right?
The V710s, I remember how hot those were for a long time.
Yeah. Didn't I end up with a used set of those?
You did. You got them from our friend Caleb.
Is that where they came from? I don't remember. I think I got tires from him. I think I got some from Dana at one point. Oh, Dana's were the that was a pity buy. I have this thing. So my first car was a 1983 Corolla, and it was a really great little car.
Well, that was rear-wheel drive, wasn't it?
I believe so. I don't remember.
Listen,
I drove it for, I don't know, a couple of years. It wasn't.
If you still had that car, we would LS swap that thing in a heartbeat.
Yes, I would love to have still owned that car, but back at the time, I didn't realize what I had. But I bought it because my brother-in-law really wanted some other kind of car. I don't even remember what it was, but this Corolla was his. And he was like, man, if I could just sell it for $1,200, I'd have enough money to get the car that I really want. And I looked at my husband and I was like, we could give him $1,200 for that car. I need a car anyway. I know it's a good car, so let's just, $1,200. Let's don't even try and, haggle him down or anything. So that was a pay buy. And then the tires that I bought from Dana, he was kind of the same thing. He was trying to save up and buy parts for his MX-3. And he's like, man, I really need to sell these tires. I really need to get, I don't remember how much out of them. And I was like, I'll buy them from you. And really, it's just me, donating to the cause and getting a little bit of something in return. Now, granted, the tires ended up being crap.
Yeah.
And I tried to drive on them on my stock rims because that was the size. They were the appropriate size for my stock rims.
Sure. It was like a 235 4517 or something, right?
I think no, those were smaller. I want to say those were
they smaller than that?
Yeah, I want to say they were 225s.
Oh, you know what? You're right, because it's just now coming back to me. Do you know what those tires were off of?
What?
They were off of a factory Lotus Elise. Those were Bridgestone RE70s.
Yeah,
Just
I'm going
nod
to go
your
ahead
head.
and nod my head. Because I was thinking they were something else. I was thinking they were
Nope.
Goodrich. Maybe I'm thinking of a totally different set of tires.
Well, you got a few different sets of tires from him.
Yeah.
That was when he was working for that exotic car dealership here in Oregon.
Right.
We should probably leave
yeah.
out the specific names,
Right.
but just a little backstory for you folks. We had a buddy that was working for an exotic car dealership, as I just said. And he had some really interesting stuff that he was able to kind of get get rid of.
Because the drivers of the exotic cars would do their track days on like a set of tires, and then they would bring the car into the dealership for like post track day once overs, and they'd be like, "Oh, by the way, I don't want these tires anymore either. Can I just leave them here?" And so Dana snagged those, and that is how I ended up with that set. I was thinking of a set prior to that.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
There were the ones that were from our buddy Caleb. Those were 15s, though, and he offered to let me use those on the all-wheel drive Protege, but I declined because I wasn't sure what sticky gumballs were going to do to my transmission.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's not like the Kumho V710s were the stickiest tire on the planet.
Is it
but-
Kumho? Is
Well, that's
that
how
you
I
say
pronounce it.
Oh, I always just said Kumo.
Listen, I'm from the street, okay?
I don't know.
Kumho!
I just thought that Kumho sounded a little derogatory. Like somebody somewhere might take offense to that.
You know what? The world's too PC, okay?
I know. I agree with that.
I'm going to keep
Sure.
calling them Kumho
Okay.
because you keep calling Falcon tires Falcon tires.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I think I've got a little leeway
Hey,
there.
Falcon, Impala. What else is it that I say wrong? Sometimes I say them instead of those.
Yeah. Y'allins.
Yep, I am.
I seen it.
Yep, I am nearly 100% Northern California hillbilly.
Northern California has
Northern
hillbillies?
California has hillbillies like you ain't never seen before.
Yeah, but instead of making moonshine, they grow pot, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pot and maybe a little crystal meth, depending on the season.
Yeah. Meth is very seasonal, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when it's pot season, you're going pot, and then when it's not pot season, you cook your meth.
Right. You've been asleep for 6 months. You got to have something to keep you awake for 6 months.
Right. Right. Yeah. You got to get in that cycle, that groove.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, speaking of cycles and grooves, do you think that we're going to see any other contender tires this season, or is it just going to kind of be more of the same? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I was looking at the results from last year because we are ramping up to the new season, the 2018 season. And I saw that somebody in B stock had placed, it wasn't real high, it was like 8th place. But, I mean, keep in mind, this is the national tour, so you got to know what you're doing.
8th place out of how many? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
They were running Nexen tires. I mean, what's next? Are we going to see, you know,
I don't know.
Korean tire du jour?
Possibly.
Don't get me wrong, it'd be kind of funny if we saw that at some point.
I think having been around autocross for as long as I have, like I said, this is going on my 14th season. To get to the national level, you either have to compete with a club where you're like one of the only people, like there's maybe you and one other guy, and he doesn't always show up to the races.
Yeah.
Or you're the only person. Granted, this is the person who's like me, who shows up in their daily driver, and they don't want to just throttle the you-know-what out of their car because they need it to get them to work and back during the week. So they, they're mostly on a stock setup. They run better tires, but they're still a street tire. So for someone like someone like me, to get to the national level in that kind of a setup, you have to be a absolutely exceptional, like borderline Rain Man kind of a driver.
Sure. And I have to be honest, I think that's the secret that everybody knows but nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
When it comes to autocross racers, I'm not talking about track racers. I'm talking about autocross racers. Yes. The people that do autocross racing and do well at it, they're a little Rain Man-esque.
Off.
Yeah, they're a little bit off.
They're a few fries short of a Happy Meal.
They have an analytical quality.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go.
I'm beating around the bush too much. They're autistic.
Okay.
That's just what it boils down to.
See, I was just going to compliment you on your the analytical quality, and I was like, oh, that's a really nice way to put it. And then you're like, nope, they're autistic. And I was like, okay, whatever. All right, let's just roll with it. Let's just be ourselves.
Well, listen, so I work in an engineering office, and there's a certain hierarchy that happens. If you're a mechanical engineer, you have personality. If you are a software engineer, you're lower than that. If you're an electronic engineer, you're lower than that. When you reach automation, because that's what I'm in, is automation.
Uh-oh.
It's very hit or miss what people's personalities are going to be.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because, you don't have that dynamic in my office where people are trying to fight and drama and there's cliques and stuff like that. Like, everybody's just got a really healthy dose of Asperger's.
Okay.
And we're all just trying to make it through the day.
Yeah.
And if you can make it to the end of the day and not make eye contact with anybody,
that's, yeah.
It's been a good day.
I'm naturally an introvert, so that sounds like we were not too long ago at my work. I was talking to a couple other people I work with, and we were all talking about how, when I was in high school, I worked this job, and I worked that job. And it turned out that all of our, best high school job days had to do with nobody else being around. Mine was, I worked at a plant nursery, a big one, a big plant nursery. And the back 40 was all the trees, all from small all the way up to pretty decent sized trees. Mm-hmm. And my favorite days were when I would show up and they would send me out there to water the trees with a hose. There were even spiders back in there, and I didn't care.
You were armed with a hose.
I was armed with a hose, and I figured, as long as they stayed in their space and kept themselves out of my space, we could coexist peacefully.
The local creepers would come out, and you just hit them with the hose.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no people, just me and the trees and the spiders.
Wow, you really are a Californian.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was born in Oregon. But
nah, you're California at your roots.
Yeah. What, these roots?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Go home, California.
This is my real hair color up here, not down here at the ends. This is what's left over from the last time I colored it, but up here, that's all me.
Yeah, sure. What? I noticed that, but I wasn't sure what the etiquette would be.
Yeah. Well, actually,
what am I supposed to do? Look at you and go, "Hey, person that I've known for debatably 13 or 14 years." Looks like you haven't colored your roots in 6 months. How's it going?
I'm growing it out. That's the answer.
I'm super depressed. What do you think is going on?
No, actually, a lot of women dye their hair like this on purpose.
Sure, yeah.
It's called a ombre, or something like that.
No, yeah, I've seen the women who will stick their pigtail ends in a specific hair dye. And I've always thought about doing that, but me with pigtails is a little bit weird looking.
I can't see it. It's
such a sexist. Listen, it's sexist because you go out in public with pigtails and people think, "Oh, she's cute." I go out in public with pigtails and they think, "Oh, stay away from that guy. He's crazy."
Yeah, it's definitely all because you're a dude.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very. I feel like we should be past that. It's 2018.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna make a PSA.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just because I'm a man and I've got normal length hair doesn't mean I don't like to take 3 pieces of my hair and throw them up into a pigtail once in a while, and I shouldn't be judged for that. And that's the real point here, the real lesson here.
Yeah.
I need to.
That was good.
Well, I need to get that drop and download it, and we need to be able to throw it in here once in a while.
Oh, yeah. We could totally use that.
Because I say some things that should be PSAs.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you've got some good insights.
It's like when you come out your door and, you know, there's a wildebeest on your steps. I can break down exactly what to do.
Well, that's a really, really common issue for people all over the world, the wildebeest on the doorstep.
And, you know, some people don't like my solution of closing the door and going back to bed, but I think that's the most effective.
I do too. I think it's good for both parties involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you both get to, you know, just exist together. You know, you get to go about your way, and the wildebeest, he gets to go about his way or her way.
When I do see the wildebeest, I point at my bumper sticker that says coexist, and I tell him, you see that?
Yeah.
That means that you need to make your way, and I'll make my way.
That's right.
And then I close my door and I go back to bed.
Yep. I would recommend that.
Have you ever met a casual meth user?
No, I have not. Not that I know of. It's possible that I have. Do you know of anyone that we both know who is a casual meth user?
Both know? I don't know about that.
Oh.
I've known a few people who only used meth at work.
Cannot compute.
Well, you're working nights. You don't want to sleep all day. Like, you got stuff to do all day.
Okay.
But then you're working nights at the mill. And it's not anything important. It's just like sweeping up and, you know, cleaning out where the robots and conveyor belts are. So actually, yeah, you probably shouldn't be high while you're doing that. But, yeah, I've known a few people who said their secret to success was just a little meth at the start of their shift.
I prefer coffee.
I think we all prefer coffee.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need a little more than coffee.
Yeah. I do remember at one point I worked for a fairly well-known coffee company for almost 4 years. And I do remember getting to the point where I could drink espresso drink after espresso drink and still feel just so tired. And so I switched to the energy drinks, like the rock stars and the monsters and all those. So it is something that you definitely build up a tolerance for over time.
How'd that treat you?
The coffee, caffeine. It treated me really good at first, and then I no joke, I started to build up a tolerance to those as well. And that's when I was like, time to get out of the coffee business.
That's a lot of sugar, too. I feel like you would be an early 30s, very slender woman with type 2 diabetes. It'd be bizarre.
Yeah. That's where I was headed, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I scared my nephew, actually, because I told him one day that we were seeing a lot more. Well, this is something. Listen, it's not my fault. Let me preface by saying that it's not my fault.
Oh boy.
Listen, I'm married to a doctor.
Right.
And so she was reading a study and she thought it was very interesting. So she brought it to me and she said, "Hey, have you heard of this before?" And she was reading it to me. And there is a rise of type 2 diabetes and liver disease in relatively thin people.
Really?
Yeah. So fatty delivery disease. Fatty. I got stuff coming from Amazon
Ding dong,
today.
did you order a fatty?
I got Amazon parts on my mind.
Who ordered the fatty?
I'm right here, baby. No, so I was talking to my nephew who loves his sugar, as most, 14-year-olds do.
Is he just 14? Mm-hmm. Wow. I was thinking he was like 16 or...
They grow up so fast, unless you're growing up fast too, and then you're like, no, stop aging. Because if you're getting older, then it means I'm getting older.
Yeah.
But yeah, I told him that just kind of in passing, I was like, oh, hey, did you hear about this thing? Because he was talking about all his friends that drink, 4 Monster Energies a day in high school.
That's so bad for you, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, most people who are really thin but have a super high sugar intake, they're seeing a lot of fatty liver disease, even though you're thin and it doesn't seem like you'd be at a risk for anything. And I think it ended up being one of those scared straight deals. I didn't mean
really?
to. Yeah.
Wow, just that little bit of a, hey, did you hear about? Wow.
I don't know for sure because, I mean,
Okay.
he doesn't live with me, but he definitely, like, his face changed a little bit.
Well, he really does look up to you. And I think that's great. I think he should really look up to you. So I'm sure that if it's something that you said, he would take it seriously.
I don't know why. You said he really looks up to me, and then I started having these flashbacks of making Whistling Pete bombs and sticking them in rotten squash, and then my youngest cousin walking over, not realizing what we were doing, and having that squash blow up right next to him. I hope he doesn't look up to me too much.
Well, I don't know. My sisters and I, we blew things up with Whistling Pete bombs. I
But did you blow each other up?
No.
I feel like that's a key difference.
We blew up Ken doll.
Oh.
Yeah. My mom's best friend.
Third wave feminism!
Yeah, my mom's best friend, when I was a little kid, she had 4 boys. And they were all kind of stair-stepped in with me and my 2 older sisters. And so we would always spend a lot of time together.
Sure.
And I'm talking from the time I was in, like, kindergarten all the way up till now. Like, we're still friends with all these people. So the summers was when we really would spend a lot of time. We would go camping together. They would hang out at our house. We would hang out at their house. We'd go to the pool. And one summer, it was right after the 4th of July, like either the day after or the weekend after or something. And at this point, we were all in like junior high and high school. And we decided that, hey, Bi-Mart is going to have all the fireworks on sale now.
Oh, yeah.
And none of us had a Bi-Mart card. But we were gonna try and get in anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So the oldest, he had his driver's license, and we all 7 of us, climbed into the small version of the Chevy Blazer, not the big K5, but the one that kind of came after that, and it was smaller. We all crammed into that little Blazer and drove to Bi-Mart. And when we got there, there just happened to be someone else walking in, like right in front of us, and we just like scooted in with this woman who totally could have been somebody's mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we just blended right in. We were like, dude, that was so slick. Did you see that? We're in. And
you can't do that with Costco, man. No. They are checking at the door.
So we loaded up on Whistling Pete's and went back to the house, and we blew up several things that day, but most memorable was the Ken doll, because the bomb malfunctioned, and instead of just going boom, it went beep. And we had it on video. We had a video camera and we're taping it. And in the replay, you can see when it was whistling, it was shooting a flame up because we buried it underneath him and we propped him up. And it shot a flame up and was like melting his hair and his face, and then so I don't think there's anything wrong with blowing things up with Whistling Pete bombs when you're a kid, as long as you don't lose any valuable parts.
That's what
and
I'm
your
saying,
cousin
man.
was fine, wasn't he? Ish.
You should meet him now. We always wondered. Always wondered.
So the important thing is when you do have children looking up to you, I don't think it's fair to be like hide things from them and be like, oh, I'm ashamed of that, whatever. The point is that you learned something from it. And you can pass that on to them. Say, hey, we were blowing up rotten squash with Whistling Pete bombs. And, our cousin...
It was awesome.
It was awesome. But our cousin happened to walk right by. So if you ever do that, just make sure that everyone around you knows what you're doing so that they don't walk right up to the bomb that's about to go off.
Yes, or find a way to keep him from telling his parents. That way you don't get in trouble.
Also, lesson learned. A valuable lesson learned that you can pass on. Don't let your parents find out.
Yes, yes, exactly. If you keep your parents from knowing what's happening,
Right.
then you won't get in trouble. Little tip of the day.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Little tidbit there.
All right. I know that
What were
you've
we
got a
talking
heart out, and so I want to bring this back around for
Yeah.
the last segment of the show.
Yeah.
Searing as it relates to pellet grills. Now,
Oh.
I know that your pellet grill goes up to 450, and I was doing a
Oh,
little-
actually, I clarified that with my husband the other day.
Yeah.
He says it goes up to 500.
500. Wow.
Yes. The Green Mountain Daniel Boone, I want to say.
Yeah, Daniel Boone. That's what you have.
Is what we have.
Now,
We've had it a little over a year.
But here's my issue. So to put a sear on meat, and I'm using air quotes, sear, in my opinion, you need to have a hot surface
Yes.
that you're throwing the meat on,
Right.
and you're getting those grill marks, and you're getting that char. And when you are doing 500 degrees in a pellet grill, excuse me, it's like 500 degrees in an oven. Can you consider that searing? In my opinion,
I wouldn't.
No, you can't.
No. Yeah. And that's the problem that we're having with the Green Mountain. Mostly the problem that my husband is having because I think the meat cooked on the Green Mountain without the char is delicious. And he does too. He just really especially when he's cooking beef ribs.
That's the thing, and when especially if it's a really delicate cut of meat, if it is a really nice delicate cut of a beef or a bison or some other dark red meat. So this Christmas, I had a really hard time deciding what people were going to get for gifts, and so what I ended up doing was I ended up sending out a lot of Omaha steaks.
Oh yeah, we did that
Packages.
once. We bought some Omaha steaks once. They were okay.
And Omaha Steaks is not sponsoring us, but
No,
if
they're
Omaha
not.
Steaks would like to, they can feel free to reach out to us.
Yes.
Andy at boostboostbarbecue.com. Anyway, we did that, and I got a lot of good feedback from my family. Everybody
Good.
seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it did come with some really nice cuts of meat. Not a whole lot, but I want to say that the packages I sent out, which weren't super expensive, they were like $80 a piece. They came with some filet mignon.
That
and,
sounds a lot like the package we got. I think it was
Yeah.
about $80, and there was some filet mignon in there.
When you've got
And
a
some
piece of meat
pork
like
chops
that,
and chicken and
well, I'm
all different
hoping
kinds.
that it was a high quality cut of meat, the kind of high quality cut that I think it is, because something like that, you have to treat it with respect. Like you just, it needs to be treated the right way, and you can't just we're going to throw it in a pan with a
Yeah.
little bit of oil
Yeah.
and flip it whenever. Something like that. Really, in my opinion, if you're going to be doing it right, it needs to be over a very hot surface, and
Yeah.
it needs to get that char,
Right.
and it needs to be cooked, obviously, medium rare.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
So it's hard when all you have is that pellet grill, and it goes up to 500 degrees, but it's not not
just-
that direct heat.
Right.
Well, so what do you think? How do you combat that? I was looking at there are ways of adding like they call them a searing grate. Basically, all it is they remove the dampening plate from right above the heating element in a pellet stove or a pellet grill, excuse me, and it allows you to sear directly over that because that's your hot spot. Camp Chef makes a pellet grill where basically all it has is just a propane grill on the side, and it lets you sear there. But
Yeah.
at that point, how important is it
Right.
to have the smoker?
Right.
That's the thing. Like, am I really going to pay $1,000 for a small pellet smoker with this searing on the side, or am I going to spend $1,000 on a much larger pellet grill and then just go ahead and have a charcoal grill or a
Yeah.
gas grill somewhere else?
Yeah. Those are your options, really. I probably would go with the bigger smoker with the separate because you're not always going to want to char your meats. But you're probably always going to want to smoke them at least a little bit.
You're always going to want a smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so yeah, that would probably make the most sense for me.
Folks, food for thought, knowledge for life. And with that, our time has come to an end.
Yep.
This has been Boost Booze and Barbecue. Find us at boostboozebarbecue.com.
Yep.
Facebook.com/Boost Booze and Barbecue. Email us, Andy at boostboozebarbecue.com or Jojo at boostboozebarbecue.com for any comments, questions, concerns, or if you just want to tell us how much you love hearing our nasally drones into these microphones. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye,
and
all.
we will talk to you soon.